So call this message, why are you so fearful? Why are you so fearful? Tap to the person next to you at home and say, why are you so fearful? And I know that we live in a season where everyone catches themselves asking that to themselves. Like, I know I have a few times, I love my kids, but Lord, am I going to get back some of that personal space? Come on, somebody. Because our world right now is full of fear. No one knows what's going to happen in 1, 2, 3, 5 months' time. So much uncertainty everywhere. People losing their jobs, businesses, opportunity. It's changed our way of life. It's changed the way our thinking is. It's a crisis. It's a disruption. It's an unwanted season. It's an unexpected storm. But the greater the storm, the greater the miracle. The greater the pain, the greater we experience His grace. The greater the suffering, the greater the comfort. And see, Paul's greatest revelation came in prison. Joseph's greatest opportunity came in prison. Peter's greatest experience came when he was drowning. David's greatest victory came from his greatest challenge, because Jesus has a funny way of revealing Himself to us. But in our culture, that's not cool at all, because we like certainty. Our confidence and security comes from certainty, and we work hard in life to have certainty of our future. It's like, Lord, I need to know what's ahead. I didn't know what my future is going to be like. But what if I told you that we don't need to be certain about the future? What if I told you that certainty about your future is a crutch to your faith? Because fear and uncertainty goes hand in hand. And the more uncertain you are, the more fear starts to take a hold of you. Isn't that where fear starts? Because the more you live by what you're seeing right now, the more uncertain you'll get. And that's why we walk by faith and not by sight, because it's exactly in seasons like this that God uses to remove your crutch so that your faith takes over the place of fear in your life. And He's telling someone right now, stop trying to be certain about the future, because I'm trying to build your faith stronger than you ever had before. I'm taking away your crutch so that you're going to lean on me and not in your bank account, not in your job, not in what you want to hear from people. So we need to change our perspective this morning and say, Lord, though I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds that future. Though I can't see things in my life getting better, I'm going to throw away that crutch and lean on you, because I know that you've got this, you've got me. So I'm going to keep asking myself, why are you so fearful? And that's what Jesus kept saying throughout His 3 years of ministry. And I believe that if Jesus would walk into our world right now, that's exactly what He would be telling us. Why are you so fearful? In Mark chapter 4, the disciples of Jesus are about to hear Jesus say that same word. So turn with me to Mark chapter 4. Get your online Bibles ready and turn with me to Mark chapter 4. So Jesus had just finished teaching a bunch of people by the sea. But you see, He never really stops teaching here. And you might be feeling like, well, you think nothing is happening or that God is silent. But if you just look closely, He's always trying to teach us something at every moment of our life. So especially in this season, we need to be asking always, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? Because He's about to do that with His disciples. So, and we pick up the story here in verse 35. So it says in verse 35, on the same day when evening had come, He said to them, let us cross over to the other side. So He and the disciples were just with a whole bunch of people, but now He wants to take them to a different place. He's setting them apart. So you can call it social distancing from the others. Because whenever you're with Jesus, you never stay the same place. He always takes you deeper. He takes you further. He says, I've shown you what I needed to show you here. So now I want to show you something else. I want to teach you something else. And we got to understand that some seasons He's teaching us and growing us with other people. Some season He draws us away towards someplace deeper, because it's about intimacy. He's bringing us to a deeper intimacy, to know Him better. Because you know him better and deeper in a crisis, not from afar. You see him deeper, better in isolation. So he takes us away with him. So if you're finding your life different this year, it's because he's bringing you on a spiritual journey. So if it's uncomfortable, he's taking you on a journey. If it's frustrating, he's taking you on a journey. If it's uncertain, he's taking you on a journey. He's telling some of you this morning, I'm taking you deeper, a deeper faith, a deeper understanding, a deeper trust, because that's how I lead you from faith to faith and from glory to glory. So what we need to do is allow him to take us on a journey, day by day, MCO after MCO. Just tell yourself, hey, calm down. He's leading. He's got this. He knows what he's doing. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Jesus, I don't know where you're taking me, but I'm coming along. And in verse 36, it says, now when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose. I mean, Peter must be thinking, Jesus, why can't we just have one hangout without any storm appearing, man? Like, you ever felt that before? Like, every time you get to this place in your faith, you get so fired up about coming to church, about reading the Bible, praying, and boom, something called Corona comes along. Because there must be a greater purpose to all of this problem and this challenge that I'm facing right now. I must be missing something because God's up to something. Tell the person next to you, he's up to something. Come on, shake them, tap them, say he's up to something. And the waves beat into the boat so that it was already filling. So the crisis that was once on the outside is now starting to get on the inside. Suddenly what I've been seeing others go through is now starting to come into my life. Isn't it real sometimes that what seemed would never be an issue for you is now an issue for you? Like seeing someone go through depression because of something and you never thought you could fall into it, but it's happening with you. You never thought that you would ever be so insecure about your finances, but suddenly you are now. See, that's what the disciples were facing now, because the issue wasn't really about the storm that was happening on the outside, but it was a storm that was getting on the inside, because it's not really about what's happening to you, but it's really about what's happening in you. It's not about the crisis that's coming at you right now. It's about the fear, the worry, the anxiety that's getting in you and starting to take a hold of you on the inside. And, some of you might be facing some stuff against your life now. But the problem is not it hitting you. The real problem is it getting inside of you? And then I just wonder, what are you being hit with that's getting on the inside of you? What's hitting you right now that's filling you on the inside and starting to take over? And the problem with us sometimes is that we try to fix everything on the outside, but we neglect the real issue that's on the inside. And what we do is we put on all this mask to project an image and that it's all okay, I'm good. The Christian cliche, God is good. Never been better. He is so great. But you're actually really dying on the inside, crying in your bed at night and wondering when all this is going to end. And if you are at that place this morning, you just need to know that Jesus didn't die for you just to give you a better mask to wear or to give you a great Christian image. He came to set you free from what's been killing you on the inside, from what you've been struggling with. He came to give you perfect love on the inside so that fear has no place in your life. He came to heal that brokenness on the inside. He came to heal that pain and scars that you've been carrying. So we need to remove all that mask and just come as we are and say, Lord, this is me. This is my struggle. This is my pain. I'm weary. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I can't do this anymore. And I know that Jesus is already speaking to some of you and saying, come to me, all you who are striving on the inside, and I will give you rest. He's telling you to be vulnerable, because my grace is made perfect in your weakness, in your pain, in your struggle. And that's what the disciples were feeling at this point. You see, the storm on the outside has taken over the inside. It's starting to get beyond their control. So what do you do when things are beyond your control? What do you do when there's absolutely nothing that you can do? You know, Litz and I have been having these moments lately where my son Jordan is 2.5, and if you're a parent, you know that the terrible two syndrome can be a little bit overwhelming. And lately, his tantrums are just going beyond our control. We have tried everything, like, trust me. And one moment he's like just so sweet, like an angel, and in a split second he just goes crazy, and it's just beyond our control to how he reacts. So what do you do when you have no control over what's happening around you? What do you do when you have no control over what's happening in you? Like, I can't control this anxiety. I can't control my mind feeling like it's crazy. When I've tried all that I can to fix my marriage, I've been trying to handle my kids and it's getting out of control. What do you do? So we all do what the disciples do. They go and find Jesus. But here's the problem sometimes. We don't always find Jesus the way we want him to be found in a crisis. Like, I think if you've been a Christian for a while, you know that sometimes when you pray in the middle of a crisis, we find Jesus like how the disciples are about to, because Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a pillow in the middle of a crisis. I mean, I can almost hear some people going, that's what my MCO period has been like for me. Preach it, Pastor. I mean, I can just imagine Peter on that boat, like, okay, there's a storm, not just on the outside, but on the inside. I am freaking out right now. Everyone's freaking out. Jesus, the one whom you loved, John, is freaking out. Jesus, I need you. And then Peter finds him sleeping. Like, can you just imagine Jesus, Peter going there and say, oh, hello, Jesus. Are you comfortable enough there? Here, you want a blanket? Is your pillow soft enough? I mean, who's really feeling me on this? You're freaking out, bills not paid, problem at work, problem with your boyfriend at home, you're overwhelmed. And this is when our prayer life goes from 0 to a million, because we're just thinking, man, Jesus is sleeping. We need to wake Jesus up to see what's going on. Like, Jesus, you're not hearing me, man. And they awoke and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? Do you not care that we are perishing? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know how many times I've said the same words, like, Jesus, do you not care that I'm dying right now? Can't you see I've lost 10 kilos from this MCO stress? Can't you see that I've also gained another 20 kilos by just eating too much now at home? Do you not care that I'm feeling so lonely in this? Do you not care that my business is crumbling in front of my eyes? Do you not care that I'm struggling to just survive in this season? Where is that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack? Where is that surely goodness and mercy shall follow me? All I have are just debts following me. How many of you are feeling me and the disciples in this text? Because it's like a mixture of fear, rejection, abandonment, helplessness, loneliness. Because what was a raging storm on the outside in your life has now started to come on the inside of you. It's like, Lord, I came to church on Sundays. I give my tithes. I read the word. I believe Pastor Aaron says it's a supernatural year. I mean, where's the super, Lord? Because all I'm seeing right now is natural. Do you not care? Has anyone been there before? But church, here's what you need to know about Jesus in the midst of a storm, is that he always sleeps with one eye open. Yeah, he's not really sleeping. Like my daughter Scarlett, like saying, Daddy, are you tricking me? Like, because I just like to pretend sometimes like I'm sleeping. But he's not pretending. He's teaching. Because the disciples will learn that in your greatest crisis lies your greatest revelation. Do you remember Abraham had a revelation of faith and righteousness when Isaac was at the altar? Joseph had his greatest revelation of his destiny when he was in a pit. Moses had his greatest revelation of the power of God when he faced Pharaoh. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had the greatest revelation of God in the fire. Paul had his greatest revelation while in prison. You see, in your greatest crisis, lies your greatest revelation. And I don't know how great this crisis has been affecting you. I don't know how great your storm is, but you're about to receive a revelation that will change everything in the midst of this. And one revelation from Jesus in this season will be the absolute game changer. And some of you may be in the verge of a mental, emotional breakdown, but I just want to challenge you in the season to convert that fear, that worry, that anxiety into faith. Because when you do, you're preparing yourself for a revelation of the miracle worker, that way maker, that promise keeper, that good shepherd to perform that supernatural in your life right now in this very season. And when you have a revelation of Jesus, of who he is, of who you are in him, and of what he did for you on the cross, you're not going to leave this crisis season beaten, battered, and derailed, but you're going to be stronger than you've ever been before. You're going to have a faith that moves mountains. And I pray this morning that you will have a revelation this morning. This is how the disciples are about to receive one here. Because Jesus is about to add the super to the natural. And in verse 39, then he arose and rebuked the wind. And he said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. What a moment. But this story isn't really about the peace to the storm that was out there. Jesus was trying to teach them about the peace in the storm that was in them. And here's where it frustrates most of us in our faith in a season like this, is why do I have to go through this? Why can't he just change this crisis situation in my family right now? Why can't I just see a breakthrough in this area? Why can't he just heal me of the sickness? Where's the peace? And here's what we need to know is that true peace is not about having a storm-free life, but it's about knowing who he truly is in the midst of any storm. Let me say that again. True peace is not about having a storm-free life, but it's about knowing who he truly is in the midst of any storm. And I think we like to equate a life without problems as peace, a life without issues as peace, or a situational dependent peace. When this works out, Lord, when this thing happens, then only I have peace. But the peace he gives is the kind of peace that when you walk through the fire, you know that he's there with you. The kind of peace that when the whole world is afraid of a virus, you know that he will not allow anything to harm you. The kind of peace when you're feeling lonely, you know that he will never leave you nor forsake you. The kind of peace when you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you know that I will not fear evil, for you are with me. Because you see, it's a deep intimacy relationship with him. Because how can you know him and understand him as a loving God if you don't experience his love when you're broken? How can you truly see him as your miracle worker when you don't need a miracle? How can you know he's your savior when you don't need to be saved from your sin? I've been married to Litsa for like 8 years now, and my intimacy and relationship with her is not so much deeper now just because it's been 8 years, but it's because I know who she truly is. When I've seen her up close in her hard seasons, I know who she truly is when she's been there in my pain and struggles. I know what kind of a mom she is when our kids are being difficult or just going through a moment. And here's what we need to know is that we have a greater revelation of who he truly is in our pain, in our struggles, in our weakness, in our storms, because he wants you to know him closer, deeper, more intimately. He wants to reveal himself to you so that you would see who he truly is. And that's what Jesus did the whole time with his disciples. In all those 3 years with them, he was revealing to them that he was the Messiah, that he was the Savior of the world, that he was the Son of God. And when you do, all uncertainties will leave. Your faith is not then based on your circumstance, but on him alone. Then a supernatural peace will flow in you because now you know who he truly is and his heart for you. And that's why Jesus then asked them this. In verse 40, he said, but he said to them, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Because he's saying to them, don't you know who I am? How is it that you don't remember all the supernatural miracles, all the signs and wonders that I have done? Don't you know that I've been with you this whole time? Don't you know that I'm here with you, that I'm for you, that I love you? Didn't I say that I will never leave you nor forsake you? Why are you so fearful? And I think that's a lot of us sometimes, that we get so distracted by what's happening all around us that we can so easily forget that he's with us at every moment, in every season, in every storm, in every struggle, in every pain. And sometimes it's so easy to forget in a crisis about how much he loves us, how much he cares for us, how much closer he is to us than we actually think. And it doesn't mean that if you're not seeing him work in your life right now, that he isn't there. It doesn't mean that if you're feeling all alone in this season, that he isn't there. And if you're finding yourself in this place this morning, you need to have a revelation of Jesus again. You need to look at his finished work on that cross for you. You need to know that he has not given you a spirit of fear. You need to remember that he is with you, he is for you, that he will never leave you nor forsake you. And someone in here in this room needs to hear this, that you've been living in fear long enough, and you've been wanting to be free from this. And this is your moment where his peace is about to permeate your entire life, because he's telling you this morning, stop getting distracted by what you're seeing all around you and start looking at me. Start looking at me. And maybe you've been carrying something that no one knows about, but church, he's with you in this journey. Don't let this one season dictate your destiny, because he's saying, I'm here. I've always been here, and I will always be here. Why are you so fearful? And here's the last thing as I close. And in verse 41, and they feared, meaning they were in awe exceedingly, and said to one another, who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obey him? And I believe we are going to walk out of this season just like this, in awe and amazement of who he truly is. That he is my savior, he is my healer, he's my provider, he's my miracle worker, he's my shepherd, he's my Alpha and Omega, he's my righteousness. So why am I so fearful? Why am I so fearful? It doesn't matter if I don't know what my future holds, because I know who holds it. Fear, you've got nothing on me. Anxiety, you've got nothing on me. Worry, you've got nothing on me, because I'm no longer a slave to my circumstance. I'm no longer a slave to my emotions. I'm no longer in bondage to my failures, because I know who he is. It doesn't matter how big the storm is on the outside. It doesn't matter what the report is saying, because I know he's with me. He is for me, and I'm not alone.